Well, hello again and welcome back to the 9 Gateways of the Quantum Healer. This is video number 2. We're going to go through gateways 3 and 4 in this one. So gateway number 3 is learning proven quantum healing methods and techniques. Now this is, you might say, the meat of the course, or if you're a vegetarian, the veggie burger of the course, where you're actually going to learn skills. Now, a lot of the people who will be attracted to this course are people who are actually treating clients professionally, other people who want to be moving into that direction. So where does this information come from? Well, as I've told you earlier, I have basically been taking in information from so many different sources for literally over 40 years of traveling around the world, being with different teachers, both on a medical level as well as on a spiritual level, and various master teachers. And I've had a tremendous amount of clinical experience with thousands of patients. I've taught so many people, my own personal journey through my own school of hard knocks and inner path has been tremendous and pretty much nonstop since childhood. So through all of this, I have a tremendous amount of information that's come into me and experience and realization. And one of my superpowers is being a light translator, which means I can take in all of this, like this giant information dump from the universe, and synthesize it down to something that's simple, teachable, and really works, and getting rid of all the fluff. So that's really what I'm going to be offering you in this master course. I might say I've been on so many paths, I became pathological, but of course that's just a little bit of humor there. So these 9 gateways are basically what I've realized can be imparted in a short amount of time. So what these 9 gateways really are is a very simplified way to take you from wherever you are now in your clinical abilities and your healing abilities and what you're manifesting in your life, and to take you up to your next level where you're truly tapping into the quantum field and you're connecting with more of an unlimited source. And it really feels good to be doing that. So what I want to do now is tell you some of the specific methods that you'll be learning in the master course so it can be more tangible to you and maybe paint a little picture of how those might fit into the work you're already doing. So the first method is called the quantum block clearing method. So when I first started using this method, I learned it from a woman up in Canada at a retreat I went to, and then I started experimenting and of course coming up with my own permutations of it. And what I did is I sent out an email to people on my list, and I said, I just learned this new method, and I'm going to offer it at a really reduced rate. I think it was $100 or $125. I'll do this session for you over Zoom. And I had a lot of takers. I don't remember how many. It was maybe 15, 20 people. So I set up these 45-minute sessions, and I went through this procedure, and people had amazing results. In other words, wherever they were feeling stuck on in terms of different kinds of emotional issues they were having or feeling they had hit a plateau in their healing practice. Some of them had depression. Some of them just wanted to grow. They just wanted to increase their abilities. The vast majority of all those people felt like a very significant shift happened for them and that it really lasted. It was more or less a permanent shift in their life where they were seeing things differently after that. So I was obviously very impressed. So I've gone on and developed it further. And what it basically is, it's based on how timelines work. Timelines are the different possibilities for future existence that come out from this moment. And this is part of the quantum world. So in other words, they can be very positive timelines. They can be more or less the same as what you've been having, or they could be much worse. So with this, you're actually helping somebody to open up a much more positive timeline for themselves into an existence that I call their new way of being. So wherever you start in this process is your old way of being. And it's amazing that within that very short amount of time, people are able to make this significant shift into this new timeline, and it has a momentum of its own that carries them. So that's one of the methods you'll be learning, the quantum block clearing method. Another one is called quantum catalyst healing, which is kind of an umbrella for a lot of different techniques. And that's where you are tapping into the limitless quantum field. And because you're in the quantum field, it's sort of infectious in a good way. Your field helps to make it easier for your client to open up to the quantum field. So even people that are sort of more logical left brain and don't consider themselves to be spiritual or highly sensitive people or even skeptical of all that stuff, they feel it right away when I work with them. And it often manifests as this deep relaxation that comes over them and feeling a deepening and greater access to parts of their, say, deeper mind that they were out of touch with before. So they're able to do the inner work much more quickly and easily. So within that experience, there's many different methods that you'll be learning of how you work with people in that state. Now, one of those methods in quantum catalyst healing is called MultiDimensional Clearing. MultiDimensional Clearing. And this is something that came to me just through my own experience working with so many people, that you can do a form of energy testing to determine what is the deepest root cause of the chronic pain or the high blood pressure or the migraines or the difficulty in relationships or whatever their issue is. You'll learn within just a few minutes what is the deepest root cause of it. And once you identify it, there's a series of methods you can do that I've totally proven out that help them to permanently shift it. I mean, it's remarkable. Like as an example of what I mean by some of these deep blocks, one would be called a vow. That's where somebody at some time in the past made such a strong commitment to some kind of limitation that it persists over time. And they keep feeling blocked or frustrated or sabotaged in some way, and they never know why. You can help them connect with the cause of that and to release it. Another one of those would be called implants. And that's a complex subject I won't go into now, but it basically just means sort of like a software program that's negative, that's working in their deep subconscious soul level, that just keeps spinning out the same limiting, kind of like Groundhog's Day, like the same thing over and over and over. And they can go to so many healers and psychiatrists, and it's very hard to shift that until you have the right technology to do so. So there's a series of things like that you'll learn how to identify and help the client release. And they feel empowered doing that. Now, there's also a whole trauma release method that I'll be teaching you that, again, I've had a tremendous amount of experience developing this. And you can do it with things like energy medicine, like microcurrent and light therapy. You can do it with tapping, or you can do it with nothing, with no external tool. But what it does is it helps a person to get into a state in their brain where their brain basically shifts some of its electrical patterns in such a way that they can release the loop of these traumatic memories, which of course affects the amygdala greatly. And that by itself is so powerful. And I love seeing the shifts in people when I work with them on that. Now, another really significant thing that we'll be going over is called remote healing. Now, there's a strong scientific basis for remote healing. And if you go to my book, Awakening the Avatar Within, there's a whole chapter where there's pages and pages of this documented scientific research that supports remote healing. There's a lot of ways that you work with somebody, like how you speak to them, how you get them ready for it. And you can literally take any technique you're already doing, acupuncture, body work, counseling, or Western medicine, and you can bring in this element of the quantum field, and whatever you're already doing will become quantum. It means that it has a more unlimited effectiveness. It's like the lid is taken off the top of it. So that's a bit of an overview of some of the specific subjects. And there's a lot more, but that's basically the more important ones. And during the 3-day retreat part of the master course will be probably when you'll have the most hands-on practice and the most breakthroughs in learning these. Although at every one of the 90-minute weekly sessions that we do, we will be practicing. So we'll be practicing every step of the way. Okay, I also want to go over gateway number 4 in this video, which is receiving and giving quantum activations. Now, if you were on my webinar last weekend, you have a sense that an activation is something you can really feel. I mean, so many people were reporting that in just a few minutes. And so quantum activation is something that you build the circuitry in your own body, in your own nervous system, so that you can hold that higher frequency more easily and more of the time. And when you're holding that higher frequency more of the time, and the circuitry is rebuilt in your own subtle energy body, it's really easy to be a transmitter for activations. You know, it all comes from love. It's because you love that person in front of you, because you want them to be better off. You hold that vision, you hold that intention. And then when you open up your higher sense perception, which is one of the other gateways I'll talk about next, you're given these pictures or images or thoughts that show you how to focus your attention. So it's very kind of a self-guided process. So if you would like to receive a quantum activation right now, simply touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, breathe deeply, call in your own energy back into your body, ground to Mother Earth, loving presence, and be receptive. And you can make a clear statement of intention. It is my intention to receive a quantum activation from my own source energies, not from Darren, not from anybody else, from my own source energy that will benefit me. Let's do one for 1 minute. Keeping the tip of your tongue in the master hookup is very helpful to keep you grounded so you can really embody this better. Breathing deeply, very important. And being open. No preconceptions. Okay, that was about a minute. It really is not about time. Do you feel any different than you did before that activation? What do you notice about it? Okay, well that concludes this video. I'll see you in the next one. I'm really grateful to be able to share this with you.